What's up, Pisces? How are you guys doing? It is time for your weekly check in. So, we're going to see what's happening with you guys in the third week of December 2025. I know I'm a little behind. Past couple weeks has been pretty busy, dude, for real. But that's good. I'd rather be busy than have absolutely nothing to do at all. But it does kind of bug me a little bit when I don't get my work done on time. Anyway, though, I do have a special announcement to make. But first, if any of you are in need of a personal reading, you can find all the information on how to go about doing that in the description of this video. But the special announcement is for the remainder of December as a little holiday slash New Year's treat. All of my courses are available for download on my website. Okay. So I have How to Read the Tarot, Part 1 and 2. It's a two-part course. The Beginner's Guide to Manifestation, the steps to true healing, how to attract your life partner, and manifesting financial abundance. Okay. Yes, I know it sounds corny. I know. But I promise you, you're not going to hear it taught and explained the way I teach it and explain it anywhere else. Yeah, you can go type that into YouTube and 10,000 videos are going to pop up. You won't hear it explained the way I explain it. Promise you that. And some of them even have some really special science that goes into it that explains from a scientific perspective how this stuff works. So if you're wanting to maybe arm yourself with a little bit more knowledge and wisdom for 2026, I would at least recommend grabbing up one of them. They are very reasonably priced, very reasonably. And January 1st, they're going bye-bye. So the link is in the description. All right, let's hop into this. Let's see how the energy's looking. How's the energy looking, universe? Pisces and the person they're dealing with. How's it looking in the third week of December? Ooh, the Chariot. Some of you dealing with a Cancer. Hang on, let me see. I got to see what else comes through with that. The Emperor reversed. Some of you dealing with an Aries. Ah, okay. I was wondering, see, this has kind of been the theme for the week, where probably there's always a theme for the week. Even back when I used to do the weekly check-ins as one all signs video, there was always a theme that was shared amongst 80 to 90% of the signs. And that's no different now that I've broken them up into individual videos. There's still a theme for the week. And the majority of the signs are laying low this week. And honestly, probably throughout the remainder of December. Probably. Now, as far as the person that you're dealing with, I don't know. I'm feeling like you're either cutting the karmic tie, releasing it, closing it out. You're at least taking your first steps onto the path that are going to lead towards you completely just releasing and letting go of it. And for those of you who grabbed the course on the steps to true healing, you'll know it's not just as simple as letting go. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. But to explain it simply, maybe a lot of you are going through those steps by accident. Actually, honestly, most people who really genuinely heal the right way kind of do it by accident, you know? But I don't know. I think that you're finding peace with this, honestly. Not really seeing a lot of movement or action. right? Blocked communication or just no communication. I do think this person has attempted several times to see if they can do something to get your attention or get some kind of reaction out of you, and it hasn't worked. So they're not messing with that no more. And yeah, laying low. We'll see if that comes up in the singles portion of the reading, but there's not much to say here with this energy. Not much. Now, that's not a bad thing, though. If anything, this looks like a sigh of relief, if anything. Like I said, there's still a little bit of energy that needs to be released, but for the very most part, surrender. Surrender. I know that sounds daunting, and on one hand, it can be, but on the other hand, surrender is just the most beautiful feeling in the world. And you don't surrender until you're ready, you know, or until you've just been holding on for so long that you let go by default. You just don't even have the strength left to hold on anymore. And it's a sigh of relief. Like, I remember 10 years ago this month, December 2015 is when I turned myself into the homeless shelter after spending the last half of 2015 living under a bridge. And I remember that was the year that I experienced surrender. And it was kind of liberating, honestly. When I found myself under that bridge, dude, that was my worst fear. My worst fear was going homeless. And then when it happened to me and I found myself under that bridge, I was like, okay, well, here it is. Here it is. My worst fucking nightmare. Here it is. There's nothing left to worry about now. There's nothing left to freak out about now. It's like a sigh of relief. I fought and fought and fought and fought and fought to try to prevent this from happening, and it didn't work. Here I am. So that sigh of relief, like, okay, there's nothing left to worry about now. Fuck it. Whatever. It is what it is. All right, universe. I don't know what else to do. You take the wheel. I'm surrendering at this point. It can be a very liberating feeling in a weird way, you know? Let's see how this person feels about you. How's this person feel about Pisces? Fool reverse. I think they're a little afraid to come forward and approach you. A little bit nervous about that. And with the Emperor reversed in the last spread, they might be a little bit intimidated by you, to be honest with you. Chariot again, man. Look, well, it wasn't the Fool, but it was another Aries card in the reverse. Very similar energies came out in the exact same spread. And the Karmic Wheel again in the upright. A lot of the same cards coming out as they did in the last spread here. So I think, honestly, this person's kind of feeling the same way. Now, don't get it twisted. I think they're holding on to a little bit more bitterness and resentment, So the two of you not coming into contact right now is probably the best thing for you, to be honest with you. Probably. Because with the King of Swords in the reverse, like this energy would do you no good. That would do you no good, especially since there's still a little bit of energy that needs to be released here. You're still holding on to some of it. And if the two of you came together and they bring this energy to the table, you're just asking for it. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Eventually, it's going to blow up. Eventually, because they're still holding on to bitterness. Now, if the two of you can both completely release the majority of this energy and then come back together, maybe something a little bit more harmonious could happen between the two of you. But the funny thing about that is the more healing and releasing you do, the less interested you are in revisiting past experiences. I don't want to get into that. That's going to take me way, way, way down a totally different timeline. But no, this person does have feelings for you, absolutely 100%. But in a way, they're kind of mirroring you, in which they're kind of releasing and just surrendering. This looks like a period of surrender, is what it looks like. That's what it looks like. And that could be a good thing, dude. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, you have no idea how many of you right now are stuck in life just because you haven't surrendered yet. You can't make yourself surrender until you're ready. Well, like I said, or until you're just so damn tired that you can't hold on anymore. But yeah, failing to surrender can sometimes keep you stuck. And I think a lot of you are going through that period right now of just fucking surrender and fuck it. I don't even have the strength to hold on anymore. I just whatever. Whatever. Let it all crash and burn. Fuck it. And then that's when new doors of opportunity are going to start opening for everybody in 2026. It's the only time they can, because you're in there in the way. Let's just get the advice. This is a very strange energy, isn't it? Strange message. Oh, oh yeah, I wanted to say one thing, kind of on a side note. For those of you who have been writing us, letting me know that my audio isn't right, we know. We are totally aware that there's an audio issue and it's out of my hands and there's nothing I can do about it. What it is I just upgraded to the newest iPhone because my old iPhone took a shit on me. And so I have the 17 Pro. Apple's new microphone sensitivity settings are clashing with YouTube's microphone sensitivity settings. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. They said the only thing you can really do right now is use an external microphone to bypass Apple's microphone settings. I don't really want to do that though. Uh, I might. I'm gonna kind of wait and see how long it takes for YouTube and or Apple to fix this problem. And hopefully it'll be resolved in the coming weeks and months. But if not, I might have to fuck around and get a goddamn external microphone. So anyway, we appreciate your concerns. We know that it sounds funny. Nothing I can do about it right now. So anyway, so when this comes out as the advice, this is a warning. This is a warning. Now, 3 times in a row, one card came out. Same card, same placement, same position, 3 different decks. And that is the Wheel of Fortune or the karmic wheel in the upright. What's happening right now is allowing this karmic tie to close out and release. Allow this to happen naturally. Allow this to happen because right now it's not quite time to get in there and try to make closure happening. It's not time for that right now. Not quite. You and this individual are actually on a very good timeline together energetically, right? Because even if, like I said earlier, even if you did want to come back together at some point later on down the line and try to have something more harmonious happen between the two of you, this process still needs to happen first. I tell personal clients this all the time. No matter what you want to do, if you don't heal, it's going to fail. The primary law is the law of vibration. It doesn't matter if you want to move forward and find somebody new or bring someone back into your life from the past and give it another try. If you don't heal, it's going to fail. So there's no escaping that. No escaping that. There is no new person you can jump into a relationship with. And there is no past person that can come back. And if the energy doesn't change, it's going to fail. So allow this process to happen naturally and organically. Don't even worry about what you're going to do next. Some of you are going to move forward and find someone new. because you're not even going to have the desire to revisit this. But maybe you will. Don't worry about that right now. Cross that bridge when you get to it. Cross that bridge when you get to it. So, this is actually helping you do a lot more healing than you realize. A lot more. A whole lot more. And this is so doors of opportunity for 2026 can open up for you. So, this is actually a really good thing. I know it may not seem like it, or it may not really seem like much of anything is happening, but I promise you it is. Promise you it is. Anyway, let's see how the energy's looking generally for the singles. How's it looking generally for single Pisces? Anything new coming in? Anything old coming in? Good or bad? Right or wrong? Up or down? Or is anything coming in at all? Like I said, that Hermit card jumping out in the beginning indicates that a lot of you are probably going to be laying low. That's what most of the signs got for this week. But you never know. Let's see. Well, Ace of Pentacles reversed. Ten of Cups reversed. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. For those of you wondering whether or not the next person due to come in is somebody you currently know, no, it is not. No. Nope. If you have your eye on a specific person, I'm not really seeing anything happening with that right now. Um, Man, I ain't gonna lie. Two of Cups, Ten of Cups, both reversed. Nine of Pentacles. Looks like laying low energy to me. The question is, are you laying low by choice or because this is just what the universe, the path the universe puts you on, and you don't really want to be on it? Because we're going through a transitionary phase right now. Because I know this, it sounds trendy and cliche to say this, but January 1st literally is the beginning of a new cycle. You can see documented evidence of things that on paper in the 3D world are set to kick in January 1st that are going to create tremendous changes. Tremendous. It's going to ripple out through the whole world. So this isn't just some, the planets are going to be lined up this way and the moon is going to be in this phase. And it's not, I'm not downplaying none of that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about astrology. I'm not talking about the moon. I'm not talking about what tarot cards I'm seeing. I'm talking about this shit's on paper in the 3D world. Okay. January 1st is going to mark the beginning of a new timeline, period. End of discussion, end of story. And a lot of people are laying low right now. A lot. A lot, a lot. So, yeah. I think it's getting to a point too where those of you who have your eye on a specific person are getting tired of waiting on that anyways. You know, about ready to let go of that and just see what else there is out there too. Okay. But see, here's the thing. With all that being said, over here on the side, I have the Ace of Cups. So I think I'm being told to tell those of you who just feel like this cycle is never going to end. It's going to end. 100%. Yes, there is a new soul contract due to come in. Now is just not quite the time for that. Not quite. It's not quite time yet. But get through this transitionary phase. And yes, there is a new soul contract due to come in. Let's man, your all's messages have been kind of weird tonight, haven't they? Honestly, I've had to dig and dig and dig to get a message because the energy's coming through for you. There's not a lot to say. So I got to dig and dig and dig and dig to see if I can get something to say. Let's get the advice generally. What advice generally is most needed when it comes to everybody that's going to watch this video? I know my weekly videos don't get very many views, but it's still very important to be able to drop a pebble in the pond to create the ripple. Okay. Ooh, that's interesting. I haven't been given that one in a while. Okay. Do the best you can not to allow anxiety to make decisions for you. And I'm very particular on how I say that. I'm not just going to say, don't worry. We all know it's not that easy. If it was as easy as just don't worry, you mean all I've got to do is flip a switch and don't worry? We would all do that, right? It's not quite that easy. But don't let fear, nervousness, and anxiety get behind the wheel and start making all your decisions for you. See, anxiety and fear all boils down to one point: fear of losing control. That's really all it is. Fear of something happening that you have no control of. Well, here's the funny thing: when you develop a relationship with the universe, a relationship with the universe doesn't mean that you have it all figured out. That's not a spiritual path. People who walk a real spiritual path and a real manifestation path, they don't have shit figured out. Don't mistaken it for, they have all this shit figured out. No, they don't. People who walk a real spiritual path, there's only one thing that they figured out, and that is how and when to step aside and let the universe do shit for them. And it's usually during the hardest times. During the hardest times in your life, when you want to be in there white knuckling the wheel out of fear, that you're able to step back and let the universe take care of it. See, the energy, remember the vibrations that you cast are returned back to you. So the energy that fuels your decisions is going to put that energy into the matrix, and then the matrix is going to hand that energy back to you in the form of the results, the manifestations, the situations, scenarios, relationships that play themselves out into your life. It's going to mirror it back to you. So I'm not saying be lazy and just let the wind blow you wherever it blows you. What I'm saying is sometimes in life, the harder you try, the harder the universe fights against you. And this is very personal to the individual. This is something that has to be learned through experience individually. But when you're in one of those situations where you take one step forward and five steps back, the harder you fight, the deeper you sink. That's when you let go. That's when. And when you can learn to discern when to let go, that's when you start developing a relationship with the universe. And you'll start to notice that fear of losing control was a big illusion. First of all, you never had control. First of all, that control you were afraid of losing, you never had fucking control. Let's go back in time 6 years ago today, December 2019. How many of you were scared about what was to come in the following year? Most of you weren't. How many of you were nervous? Not many. Most people were pretty relaxed, pretty happy, pretty confident because see the ego only relaxes when it feels like it's in control and it feels like it knows what's around the corner. Well, 2020, that year should have been the proof that you were never in control and you never know what's around the fucking corner. Right? So you're not in control, anyways. You have no idea what's coming around the corner, anyways. And the most important thing when you develop that relationship with the universe is you don't need nor do you want control. Because in order to make the things happen in your life that you're wanting to happen in your life, when you see how the universe works and operates, you realize that there's no way you'd be able to figure out how to do that anyways. There's no way. So surrender can be very liberating, can be a breath of fresh air, and it can create some of the most dramatic change in your life. So surrendering and laying low and just saying fuck it. Again, I'm not saying be lazy and don't do nothing. Just let the wind blow you where it's going to blow you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying those of you who have been forcing and fighting and clinging and white knuckling the wheel and forcing and fighting and forcing and fighting, and it's getting to a point where you don't even have the strength left, you'll see that whenever you do finally just release and let go and say, all right, fuck it, whatever, I don't even care. The universe is going to pick your ass up and carry you through all the bullshit and set you on top of a mountain that you never thought you would climb in your life. See, the universe behaves like water. It lifts those up who make themselves light and drowns those who make themselves heavy. Surrender can make you light. Clinging, clinging and forcing and fighting makes you dense and heavy and you sink to the bottom. Letting go will help you float to the top. So, anyway, I feel like those were the messages that my Sagittarius fan, or not Sagittarius, Pisces. Are you dealing with a Sagittarius? Those were the messages that my Pisces family needed to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, information for personal readings is in the description. And for those of you just now tuning in who missed the beginning of the video, I made a special important announcement. For the remainder of December, all of my courses are available for download on my website. How to Read the Tarot, Part 1 and 2. The Beginner's Guide to Manifestation. The Steps to True Healing. How to Attract Your Life Partner. And Manifesting Financial Abundance. Okay, I promise you, you're not going to hear this stuff taught the way I teach it. And in some of them, like the financial abundance one, I have some special nuggets of wisdom in there. It can be a lot to bite off and chew, but the science and the quantum physics behind how the manifestation process works. For some of you, if you're like me and you're the logical, analytical type of person, and you need to understand, bring it down to earth and explain how does this really work? What's the science behind the mechanism? I put that in these courses in the financial abundance one, definitely. But yeah, so for those of you who maybe want to arm yourself with a little bit more knowledge for 2026, I would at least recommend grabbing up one of them. They are very, very reasonably priced, very reasonably. So they will be available for download for the remainder of December. January 1st, they go bye-bye, okay? All right, y'all, I'm out of here. I will see you sometime between now and the rest of all eternity. Stay blessed.